Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thanks for joining us. If you've been here a long time, I have missed you guys. And you may be wondering why I was absent from YouTube this summer. The truth is, it was the busiest summer of my life. We juggled and managed and sometimes survived some things. I did reach some new personal goals. We had the most personal and client horses in at one time. And on top of all of that, Cisco and I became homeowners. So there's a lot. I need to catch you guys up. Let's get into it. One of the last videos you guys saw before summer started was the Pitzer sale. So that ended, came back, settled down for a little bit, and then we moved up to Flagstaff for the summer around the 1st of May and got right to work with gathering my dad's cows and then branding. This was really fun because I got to use Poppy for most of the day work and then branding on her. Now she's done a little bit of ranch work before, but this was the first time she really got to rope and drag calves to the fire while they're being branded with a lot of commotion going on. I thought she handled all of this really great. If you don't remember, Poppy is my 6-year-old AQHA mare that I'm partners with on the Black Diamond Ranch, but I've had her with me and I get to treat her as if she's my personal horse. You are going to see later this summer we go to lots of rodeos and jackpots together, and you're going to have to stay tuned for that because we do some cool things in the competition arena. But either way, I want Poppy to be well-rounded, and I think jobs like this just add to her resume and make her a better horse. You'll get to see Cisco riding a consignment horse, Kota. We were still taking some sale videos at this point and testing him out, and so later on you'll see us list him for sale. But the horse that Cisco is on in these videos, his name is Kota. He's a 9-year-old AQHA gelding that will be listed for sale later in the summer. Something really new for me this summer was taking on a lot more lesson students. In the past, I've done them here and there, but this year I had about consistently 5 lessons a week. Not normal for me, but between having some great adults and kids to work with that truly love riding horses and some awesome lesson horses like Cowboy and some of my dad's horses available, it was hard to say no to the opportunity to teach others. And I found out that I really love it. You're going to get to see some of these videos and how far they progressed. It's awesome for me to look back and see how far all my lesson students came. This isn't something I'll do all the time, but I really enjoyed it this summer. It did take up time. It was worth it. And just remember, with everything else going on this summer, we had about 5 lessons a week on top of personal and client horses. So that was something that filled my schedule, even though it did bring me a lot of joy. We definitely had our hands full with outside horses, as in client horses this summer. And this whiteboard right here helped me stay on track day to day, month to month. Now, as I go on and tell you all about every client horse, I want to know what the general consensus of YouTube's favorite outside horse is. I have mine that I'm going to share at the end. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each horse, and I want to know, based off of videos and what you hear about them, which horse is your favorite that other people owned. One of the first horses I started my summer off with is Blue, a 3-year-old Oldenburg stud. That's probably about 17 hands tall. No lie, definitely taller than me by a long shot. He came to me for some overall groundwork and ground manners, and then to be started under saddle when he's ready. He did have a few different traits about him because he's a stud, and I mostly work mares and geldings, so this was a good challenge and learning curve for me, but I think Blue and I overall had a great summer. We're going to get started with groundwork, and here's a look at Blue, the 3-year-old stud. a little bump in the road for the summer, but I knew something was up. Found out Poppy had ulcers. My gut was telling me something. Some people were telling me other things. At the end of the day, I'm glad I listened to my gut. Got her an appointment with a vet in Flagstaff that had a scope. We got her scoped, found 2 bleeding ulcers in her stomach. I'm not happy they're there, but I'm happy we found them. So Poppy got on some ulcer treatment, needed a few days off, and then she will be on maintenance the rest of summer just to prevent those in the future. And I got to learn what it's like owning a horse with ulcers, because I've never experienced that before.
Like, because it's...
So you see that little pinpoint red?
Yep.
Obviously the bleeding right there. And then all of this also looks like it could be food, so I'm going to try and clean that.
On a more happy side of things, we did get a new puppy named Pancake. We named her, because you know I love food names. And this was kind of spur of the moment, but now that we have her, I really feel like it just fit and it was meant to be. So this is Miss Pancake now. She is a sweetheart, and I think Milo is becoming okay with having a sister. Yeah. So welcome Pancake to the CNA family. Here's a few clips of when we first brought her home. She was tiny. Moving right along, we got more outside horses coming in. So Sigrun, Sundance, and Peppy all came in the same week. Sigrun is a 3-year-old spotted draft mare that was born back east, owned by a family in Flagstaff, and is with us in training to do all the basic groundwork and then eventually be started under saddle. Sundance is a 9-year-old Mustang, also owned by a family in Flagstaff that I started last summer. And now he's back to refine the undersaddle training and just get him a little softer and broken the face and all the undersaddle things. And then Peppy, you guys might know who she is, but if you don't, check out the farm on Route 66, and I'm sure Alan's talked more about her and all the details. But she is a 2-year-old Grulia mare that came from Martin's quarter horses. And Alan and I actually had a fun deal planned out with Peppy where my intern Gracie was going to do all the groundwork and start her under saddle by herself under my internship, but doing all the work herself. And in exchange for that, we didn't do any money exchange. I get to pick out a free colt that's going to come from Martin's quarter horses. So later this summer, you'll see me stop by in Colorado and pick that colt out. Here's a little bit more of Sigrun, Sundance, and Peppy at the start of their training. In between the client horses, I try to squeeze in my personal horses as much as I can. And on the weekends, I usually give the client horses time off. So Penny got the call to do some ranch work, checking on the mama cows and babies, making sure everyone's settling into the new pasture nicely. Penny is my 4-year-old AQHA Palomino mare that I bought from Alan from the farm on Route 66. And I'm trying to spend as much time as I can with her. She is doing great and just needs a lot more miles under her feet. We're into June now, and I get to make my very first competitive barrel run on Poppy. If you followed me for a while, you do know that I ran Poppy at the 2023 HPI barrel pattern, but I'm just kind of sliding that one under the rug because we didn't practice a lot. She was coming off of an injury that year. We're starting fresh this year. So I'm going with this is Rodeo and entry number 1 for Poppy in the barrel race. Now, we showed up to this barrel race with 8 head of horses because as a horse trainer, I'm taking all the opportunities I can to take my client horses new places. Sigrun, Sundance, Peppy, I believe Summer went with us. Summer's a personal horse, but all the youngsters got to go with us. And here is me making my first barrel run on Poppy. Not too bad for her first competitive run. We ran in the 4D at this race. I'm keeping track of everything to see how she progresses. Sigrun gets her first ride in the books along with ride number 2 and 3. She's making it easy on us this year. Nothing we needed to worry about. If a first ride goes pretty uneventful, we did our job. In the midst of all of this horse training and trying to enter jackpots, Cisco and I got a tractor and we got to head to Congress to do a little bit of house chores. We've got some more client horses coming in. Jewel and Cowgirl arrived on the same day. Cowgirl is a 5-year-old Mustang that's coming to us for some groundwork and to be started under saddle. Jewel is a 3-year-old Blue Roan AQHA mare that's also coming to us for groundwork and to be started under saddle. Let's watch a little bit of what their start of training looked like. Quick trip to California, bought a new horse. This is a horse that we feel like we can put some time into and sell fairly quickly. I'm talking about within a year or two, whereas most of the horses we buy are babies and they're gonna need 5 to 6 years. So meet our new horse, a beautiful buckskin, Woody. One of my favorite rodeos of the whole year, we're going to Cowpunchers. I decided to crack out the Old Faithful Shorty, and he gets to be my main mount for all the events at Cowpunchers. Super proud of Shorty this week. He was not only my main mount, but he was Cisco's main mount because Cisco doesn't really have a finished horse at the moment. He did use Woody, the new buckskin, for a couple events, but he's kind of green to some of that, so we trusted Shorty with the big jobs. I did get to make it back to the short go in the all girl, but then had no luck. My header waved it off in the short go. It was still fun. You know I love Cowpunchers. Enjoy watching Shorty do his thing in the rodeo arena. You might get to see a couple misses. I'm just keeping it real for you guys. Overall, loved Cowpunchers this year. Now, Peppy's had some time to do groundwork, so Gracie is prepping her for ride number 1. Doing all the steps, making sure she's going to be ready for that first time Gracie sits on her back.
That's good. Okay, when you're ready, we'll do a change of direction. Sit. There you go. Oh, nice. She's just really learning how to move her feet right now. That first jump looks rough. When you're ready, change directions. There you go, nice.
This is when the barrel training really started to crack down. We're spending a lot of time getting Poppy ready to enter her next jackpot. Poppy enters her second ever competitive barrel jackpot at Jackpot Ranch in Camp Verde, Arizona. Love this arena. Ended up in the 3D, but hit a barrel. But she moved up 1D, so that's a good thing. Back to the client horses. Blue gets his first ever set of shoes. There was a lot of prep work that went into this, making sure he was going to be ready for the farrier to hold his foot up and tack some nails in. He also gets to be rode quite a bit more. He's ready for it. That's why the shoes are going on, so we can start riding Blue outside.
Oh, don't run into those sticks in the ground. Bar. That was a good shot.
Remember the sale horse Kota that you saw Cisco riding at the branding? Well, it's time for us to wrap up the sale videos and pictures. Started focusing on finalizing a lot of those videos, getting the pictures done so that this guy can be listed for sale in the near future. We're headed to Holbrook for Poppy's third ever competitive barrel run. The cool thing about this race is Shorty got a tag along for one of my lesson kids to take him through the pattern during time onlys. I'm not still running Shorty competitively because I want to focus on Poppy, and they are two completely different styles of horses. Trying to click with Poppy, but here's Shorty doing his thing with a kid, taking it nice and slow for her. And then you get to see Poppy and I go. Poppy is getting faster and faster. This run would have placed us in the 2D, but we hit another barrel. We're working the kinks out. Pretty happy with her though. I said we're gonna hit a lot of barrel jackpots starting midsummer. Not a couple days after Poppy's third run, we go to Chino Valley for her fourth run, where she placed 8th in the 3D. Not our best run, but sometimes it's just about showing up and getting some more runs under our belt so that we can really start feeling each other and she can tell what I'm asking of her. In between barrel jackpots, finding some time to rope to get some more sale videos of Kota and also start the prep work to get Poppy and Summer ready for the HPI. Peppy is ready to be ridden on the trails, and she's going to get her first set of shoes because it is very, very rocky out here, and we want to make sure her piggies feel great for her first trail ride. We still have Sigrun. She's getting a lot more outside riding along with Peppy and Sundance. Sundance is nearing the end of his training, and the nice thing about having customers that live close by is they get to come ride him with me before he goes home. I think that's pretty cool. You're going to see more of Sundance being rode by his owner, just making sure everything feels good before he goes home. took another weekend to do something on personal horses and branded the roping steers. So Poppy got to do some more ranch work, and Summer gets to brand for the first time. I think she did pretty good. I forgot to mention, Summer is a personal horse. She's a 5-year-old AQHA mare that was born at the Pitzer Ranch, and we've owned her since she was a weanling. She will be one I compete on later this year in the HPI, along with Poppy. We're getting close to the 4th of July weekend, which was a busy jackpot weekend for us. Kota goes to his first ever breakaway jackpot with me. We didn't place. I'll be honest, it wasn't the best. But it was his first jackpot, and that's okay, and I wasn't on my rope and A game. But Poppy gets to enter barrel jackpot number 5 in Holbrook, and here's a look at her run.
Get it!
Not too bad in the 3D in this run as well. Now we're also going to hit barrel jackpot number 6 and 7. 6 being at Holbrook. She's going to place in the 2D this time. Not too shabby. Here's a look at our run in Holbrook before we head over to Taylor. All right, driving over to Taylor for the rodeo qualifier. If you run in the top 12, you get to come back for the night rodeo, which would be awesome. I don't have super high expectations because Poppy's made less than 10 runs and she's really new to this, but either way, it's good to get some running under her belt. This was the first time Poppy really felt like she didn't have confidence in the footing. I think the Taylor ground is great. I think Poppy's just learning how to run on different ground, and I felt like she tripped a lot. We ended up 62 out of 117. Not too bad, not the best. That's okay, we're gonna keep going. Jewel and Cowgirl are both ready for ride number 1, so let's see how that goes. We're headed to one of the big adventures I got to go on this summer, going to Blanding, Utah for the San Juan Horse Sale and Futurity. So the Futurity was first, and Poppy was eligible to compete in it because she's of the age range by the stud that's eligible. They had a trail course, a sorting, and a breakaway.
Great job. Okay, our second place finisher last night is Amry Palmer. I don't know if you may not know Amry. Amry is out of Flagstaff, kind of, and out of Wickenburg, kind of, right? Winters in Wickenburg, summers in Flagstaff.
Poppy ended up getting second place in the breakaway and second place in the all-around, winning me a good chunk of change and a chainsaw. You never know when that might come in handy. We got to compete, hang out for a day, and the next day was the horse sale, so we got to watch some babies go through and sell.
500 down the line, 100. It's been 500 down the line, down the line, down the line, 5. It's been 500, 24 and 500, 500, 5. Now 6. 600, 600 down here. Now, help me out, guys. I've got a mic that's not short. Now, let's go. 600, 600, 600. 600 down, 600 down here. 600. Now 7, 7, 7. 700 down here. 800 down here.
On my way home from the San Juan Horse Sale and Futurity, decided to swing through Bayfield, Colorado to meet up with Susie and Chris Martin of Martin's Quarter Horses so that I could pick out which baby I wanted. I'm not going to tell you yet because I want it to be a surprise, but I'm curious in the comments if you guys can, who knows me the best and which baby I picked out. Alan might have told you, so you might have a cheat. But drop it below and guess which baby I got. These were some of the ones I liked the best. It was hard between 3 of them. Narrowed it down to 1, got my baby picked out, and then we headed back home to get back to work. Back to another barrel jackpot on Poppy, going to Chino first, where she ends up placing 5th in the Tootie. Couple days later, we're in Holbrook again. This run placed us in the 3D. We're kind of bouncing between that 2 and 3D right now. Lots of late night practices on the barrels, trying to get dialed in on Poppy. She is the most athletic horse I've ever rode, which also means I got a big job to keep up with her. Not gonna lie, we swacked a barrel one night and that really hurt my knee. Just so happens that it's also on video, so enjoy. One of my favorite things I got to do this summer was enter the Williams Night Rodeo in Williams. They had them every weekend in August, and it was a Friday and Saturday in 2 separate rodeos, so you got to enter. I decided, why not? Poppy's not as seasoned, but we're going for the rodeo road. And I can't only enter the barrels, I got to do Breakaway too. So Poppy makes her debut at a rodeo, the very first time she ever breakaways in competition, going through a rope barrier. We might have jumped it a little bit, and it didn't start off the best. You know, it was for the experience, but stay tuned. She does start doing good at these rodeos in a couple weeks when she kind of gets seasoned and maybe my nerves lessen. We figure it out. In between hitting rodeos, there's lots more riding happening on Blue, Cowgirl, and Jewel. At this point, Sigrun and Peppy have gone home. the horse operation. We're going to Congress for some homeowner things. Time to get the house cleaned up because, believe it or not, I get to live in a house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. With Sigrun and Peppy going home, there's room for 2 more client horses. So Billy and Jax come in for training. Billy is a 3-year-old blue roan AQHA appendix gelding, and Jax is a 3-year-old mixed roan. He has the most unique color I've ever seen. I'd like to see what people in the comments think Jax's color is. But he is also an AQHA gelding, and we're going to have them in training for a couple months doing groundwork and their first rides. Headed back to Camp Verde for a barrel race and breakaway jackpot. Poppy would have placed in the 2D on this run, but we hit a barrel. The story of our life this summer, but we hit a barrel. It happens. We're learning. We're figuring it out. She did be my main mount for the breakaway jackpot and made some good runs. I messed up a couple times. She's still new to this breakaway thing, and I think she's handling it great. We're going back to Williams for another rodeo weekend. This is making our trips to Williams number 5 and 6 of the Williams rodeos. And in total, at this point, Poppy's probably made 12 to 13 competitive barrel runs and like 4 competitive breakaway runs at a rodeo. Well, watch this breakaway run because it's pretty cool.
Crowd. Let's see if we can make it loud for tonight, guys. Here we go.
Yeah!
You bet. That'll be a 4 and 41, 4 and 41, right in the thick of it. Right there.
Poppy ended up helping me win second in the breakaway, and that same night, we took home 5th at the barrel race, the rodeo race, against some very tough horses. And even if it was a jackpot, she still would have ran in the 1D. So this was a big win for Poppy and I. We go back to the rodeo for the Saturday night, the second rodeo of the weekend. Ended up third in the breakaway and hit another barrel in the barrel race.
One more.
Yeah.
While going to all the Williams rodeos, we were taking Jewel with us. She's kind of the most seasoned, ready to handle something new, and it was a really good experience for her to be rode in a new arena and just be tied up and experience the rodeo action from the sidelines.
We got 2 more sets of the barrel racing.
We're in August now, but back in July, my sister Elyce came home from her mission. She served a mission in Alaska. What was pretty cool to me, she hadn't roped one single live steer, shows up to our Palmer annual roping, and wins the whole dang thing on Shorty Boy. Shorty coming in clutch when you need the old veteran for the real thing. Taking a little vacation for a moment, or what I like to call a vacation, and going to the Pitzer Ranch for the HPI and 2024 fall sale where they sell all the babies. Now you got to see my HPI video and the sale day video. If you haven't watched those, go check them out. Overall, had a great week at the Pitzer Ranch. We did also take all of our 2-year-olds up with us, and they are going off to kindergarten to be started under saddle. So let's say goodbye to all the 2-year-olds that went up there with us. They'll be back, but they're going to be gone for a couple months. We are saying goodbye to all the 2-year-olds this morning. They're off to kindergarten. They had their preschool. Now it's time to learn how to be rode. This is Sully. Wasabi's over there. That one's Summer, and that's Poppy. Sully again. Rooster. Good looking Rooster's got his head in the food. Dusty. And Kenny's right here. Hello, Ken Pfeiffer. I can't forget to shout out Poppy in the HPI. She placed second in the barrels, winning us some more money and a really cool cooler. But you probably got to see that in the HPI video. Shortly after getting back from Pitzer's, Cowgirl went home. So here's a couple of my final rides on Cowgirl, working on some more things under saddle and especially just trying to make her well-rounded so her owners can do anything they want to with her. Yeah. Also wrapped up his training and he will be going home shortly. He's still here at our place right now as I'm making this video because his owners are going to take a few lessons with me before he heads home. But here's some of my final rides on Blue and some of the cool things I made an English horse do that are Western themed. And that's where we're at. You guys are all caught up. We got back from Pitzer's, and the first thing I did was turn Poppy out to pasture. She is on a well-deserved break. She made 18 competitive barrel runs for me this summer from May to September. We entered 5 rodeos in the breakaway. She did 1 breakaway Futurity and entered 1 other breakaway jackpot, getting me 3 checks total. And if I would have roped better at the breakaway jackpot, I guarantee she would have got me a check there. So we're going to give her a couple more weeks off. Not only did she do all those events, I headed and heeled on her this summer, and she did ranch work. So I'm pretty proud of her and really excited to show her future. Stay tuned. I still got that rodeo itch. I want to give my horse the time she needs to rest. And honestly, myself, I needed a little break. But we will be back on the rodeo road soon, and I can't wait to take you along real time what Poppy and I accomplish or the learning curves along the way. For client horses, right now we still have Jax, Billy, and Jewel. So drum roll on the client horses. I'm curious to see what was your favorite client horse based off the videos this summer. Drop that below in the comments. And the one that's going to take the cake for me this summer is Jewel. She has been awesome. For starters, she's Hancock bred, and the stereotype is that Hancock's buck, and she never offered to buck once this summer. I think, too, I just really get along with her because she's go-y, but she's not a runaway. She'll stop when you ask her. And don't get me wrong, there was some days in the training where things weren't perfect, but overall, I'm really happy with Jewel, and shout out to her owners because I really enjoyed the time I got with Jewel, especially. Overall, I am so thankful for the amazing clients and their horses we got sent this summer. There wasn't one horse that I wish hadn't come. They were all great. And saying that, we are about 6 months booked out right now, so if you want to get on our books to have your horse started by CNA Horses, shoot me a message. This summer alone, we put the first rides on 7 different horses, and not once did we have a horse buck or do anything silly because we take our groundwork very seriously, and we had 7 uneventful first rides just the way we like them. Thanks for sticking to the end of our summer 2024 recap. Now you know what we did all summer, and now you know why I was so busy. What I didn't show was a lot of the behind the scenes of what Cisco was doing, which was housework and riding personal horses. So I didn't even really mention all the yearlings and 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds that needed work that he took care of. But we got lots going on, lots to be very thankful for with the lessons and clients and rodeos, all those things. But I'm not going to lie, I'm very excited to have a little bit of a break because your girl got tired this summer. And, you know, sometimes you just need a breather so you can upload to YouTube some more. So stay tuned. I'm excited to see what you guys are most excited about. I know that I still have the rodeo itch. It's resting inside me, but I feel like in a couple weeks I'm taking you to a barrel jackpot. And then I also know you guys want to see the new babies, all the foals, what they've done. And aside from that, we've got the winner of Arizona sales coming up. So lots to be excited for. If you're new to my channel, check out some of my old videos so that you know what we're all about. If you've been here a long time, you know I love you and I appreciate you. Thanks again. I'll catch you on the next one.